Welcome into Good Morning KU and the sports version as always. It's Monday morning and amazingly we're still here. We've got a packed show. We've got football, we've got cross country, we've got tennis, all of them doing well besides football of course because I did mention them. Rowing had their first regatta this past weekend, opening up what's going to be an exciting 2015-16 season, and soccer played as well. We don't like to talk about that, but it is Good Morning KU, so we will. Stick around with us. Welcome back into Good Morning KU, and now we've got Nick Cousin.
What's up?
That was highly unathletic. That's why we're here talking about sports and not out playing them. So let's talk about sports. Let's start with football. Kansas playing Texas Tech. The Red Raiders coming in 30-point favorites on the road. Are you kidding me?
Well, there's always that one game, Griffin. Every year, KU plays close against a Big 12 team, and that was this weekend.
Hey, that was TCU last week. One of the best experiences of my life, being there on the sideline as Trevor Pardula for Heisman causes the fumble that almost brings Kansas back into that game against the then third-ranked Horned Frogs. Talk about this game. You were field level for this as well. What did it feel like to be there and feel like, oh man, Kansas is actually competing against a Big 12, a really good opponent?
Well, you know, this is my shot right here. You know, Parmley points at me right there, but you know, it was. I was getting a little bit jittery on the sideline. You know, it was exciting because I might see the first KU win this season, but. You talked about how special teams almost won us that game last year. Well, it cost us in this game. Matt Wyman missed 3 field goals in the first half, and Nick Bartolo missed an extra point, and that could have put us in a potential for an overtime game and maybe a KU win.
Yeah, and you're also looking at that last drive. I mean, you're seeing Ryan Willis here made big strides, of course, as a true freshman quarterback. But when you're trying to lead a game-winning drive down 10, he ends up throwing an interception, and it just – maybe if you're closer in that game, all you need is a field goal or all you need is just, you know, there's no pressure to go out and win. You're still going to overtime. You know, maybe there's a little bit less pressure on him. He doesn't throw that interception. I'm not going to say that he doesn't.
That's just freshman learning experience right there. He's going to, in a couple of years, I think he might be in that top tier of Big 12 quarterbacks. Don't want to look that far ahead, but I think he can get there at some point.
I agree with you. I mean, I think to me, you look at Ryan Willison and you're saying, okay, this is a kid who's supremely talented. He's got a great arm. He's got a cannon. We've seen it many times. In fact, his first ever touchdown as a Jayhawk was, you know, as Trent Dilfer would say, a dime.
Yeah.
You know, but you know that Baylor and TCU are going to come out with these studs. Baylor already has one. We saw him in Baylor's game against Kansas, the little freshman kid that came in for Seth Russell, and he lit up the Kansas defense. I know it's a Kansas defense, but still. You know, freshmen look good. You know TCU's got a stud behind Trevone Boykin. You know that Texas can go out and recruit a 5-star basically at will. And so that leaves you with, you know, maybe K-State has a great quarterback. Maybe Baker Mayfield has a brother or something and he goes to Oklahoma. I mean, it's when you talk about being a top quarterback in the Big 12, there's so much you have to contend with. You have to be a Heisman contender to be a top quarterback in the Big 12.
Yeah, you see, Big 12 does have great quarterbacks, and you've seen the last couple of years RG3. There's a whole long list of names that you could go with.
Oh yeah, and most of them from Baylor and TCU as well. So, you know, it's going to be tough for Ryan Willis to break through, but we'll see. He's got a long way to go. Let's move to rowing. You talk about a team that has a lot to look forward to in this season. There's only been one coach in the rowing program history. That's Coach Rob Catloth. And he's done such a great job building this program up from the bottom and taking a Midwestern rowing program. I mean, who thinks about rowing in Kansas, honestly? But you take that program and you turn it into a program that has a little bit of success, and we saw it in the Jayhawk Jamboree.
Yeah, you know, we saw KU. It came right down to the end with their V1 varsity 8 boats, and they actually faced off against each other in the semifinals, which was kind of entertaining. Boat bragging rights, as Coach Catloth.
Boathouse bragging rights. That's how they put it, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, there really was that kind of friendly competition dynamic, and the coxswains were yelling at each other while the boats were going, and it was a close race. So.
And one of the cool things was they actually did a 300-meter sprint.
That's where that race happened.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really entertaining too. You got to see the whole entire race through its entirety.
Right, and that's what Coach Catloth said. You know, he's saying that a lot of boats aren't really working on starts this time of year, and that's one of the most important parts because even though rowing is an endurance sport, getting that start and starting ahead of the pack can mean so much. I mean, for all of you track cross country runners out there, you know how it is. You know, you start in front of the pack, and it just means a lot to you going forward. So to actually work on starts like that and to have their varsity one boat, which competed in 3 of those races, you know, they had a heat and a semifinal and a final. That boat got to have, I think, 4 different starts on the day because they had that as well as their 3,000 meter. I don't remember the distance off the top of my head, but it was a good day for rowing if you like rowing, which I do.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful day too. So
it definitely was.
Just added on to
it was better for us than it was for the rowers because if you're a rower, you don't like wind.
Yeah,
you know,
it
it messes up your oars, and it was windy. For us, it was cool. It was a little breeze, you know, but it made the water a little choppy, made it a little bit difficult to row. So they pulled through it, and they did well against a really tough competition. By the way, Tulsa was the team. The Tulsa varsity one boat was the team that beat the Kansas varsity one boat in the sprints by just less than a second. They have another shot at them at the Tulsa Invitational in about 3 weeks.
So they can get their payback for that.
They can get their payback.
They won by 3 seconds, which was very, very minor.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tulsa won the final by less than a second.
Yeah,
so you know, it's just that just goes to show you it was probably that start that maybe not starting as well as they could have was the difference between winning and losing.
And now they know for next time.
Exactly, that's what it's all about at the beginning of the season. Let's talk beginning of the season cross country. 3rd meet, and it was the pre-nationals that was held in Louisville, where the NCAA nationals are going to be. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, Sharon Loketti, what can I say about her? She finished 4th out of the whole competition, which was about 200 runners, and
a stacked competition field.
Very. And then, you know, you have the sisters Baker, Malika, and Ajia. They took 2nd and 3rd on the team. And then you look all the way back to the Bob Timmons Classic, that first tournament. Lydia Sagao took 4th on the team in this tournament, and then they placed 19th overall as a team. However, though the men didn't do so well, they placed 25th. And you know, their seniors are really Evan Landis and Jake Morgan. They really lead this team. They only took 82nd and 83rd out of 200 runners, so they ended up only placing in 25th as a team. So as long as you have Sharon Loketti on your team, I think you're set.
I think you're going to do okay. Yeah. And on the men's side, there was just a lot of depth. The top 2 teams in the country, being CU and Oregon, they were both in that field. So that's a really, really tough field to compete against. CU, by the way, was also in the Jayhawk Jamboree. So got a little Kansas CU throwback to the old Big 12 days.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and we'll get to see him again, the cross-country team. We'll get to see him again for pre-regionals.
On Halloween, is our next meet at Oklahoma State.
At Oklahoma State, and then they come back here for the regional meet at Rimrock because Rimrock is beautiful. It's far, but it's beautiful.
A lot more action here in Lawrence. You can go catch out that cross-country team.
Let's talk about tennis. Another team with a person that is enjoying success, and it's the freshman Anastasia Raichikova.
And again, like Sharon Loketti, what can you not say about her? She's going to be in the singles finals today out in Stillwater. She defeated the 12th ranked tennis player in the country yesterday, and Victoria Leshkova of host Oklahoma State. And she closed it out in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3.
Unbelievable.
And then earlier in the day, she also defeated Minnesota's Caroline Ryba in straight sets, 6-2, 6-1. So she's been incredible all year. I won't be surprised if after today's final, she's ranked in the country.
I mean, I would hope so. You beat tough, top-level competition like that. I mean, this is the ITA regionals. I mean, this is a big deal tennis competition in the Midwest. So, and it's not even the Midwest regional; it's the Central regional. So you get Central, United States, which is a lot of top-level competition that you're getting.
There's a lot of those schools in the Midwest, so a lot of competition.
Who is she playing in the finals?
She is playing another cowgirl, Katerina Admovich. So I'm not sure if they're all Russian, but they all sound Russian to me. So
Russian.
There's a lot of great Russian tennis players out there.
Russia provides us with very, very good tennis talent. They do. They just love tennis.
And I forget to mention Rachikova is ranked 50th in the junior rankings.
Oh, yeah. So that's pretty amazing. Okay. We have to touch on this because it is a KU sport. Soccer.
Even though you don't want to really talk about it.
I mean, I was there over in West Virginia, and it was 11 people on different teams that had matching uniforms that kicked the ball for 90 minutes, which I guess technically qualifies as a soccer game. Beyond that,
that's really sad to say.
It was 6-0 to West Virginia. It was the number 3 ranked team in the country. So before you're Kansas soccer is not very good. That was the number 3 ranked team in the country. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
It's a solid squad.
Yeah. So they shouldn't be too disappointed.
We talked a lot about the Jayhawk Jamboree, but now we've got an actual rower to talk about it with us. It's Hunter Cohee. We'll be back with her right after a quick break. Stay with us.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back in. This is still Good Morning KU because it's still 10 a.m. on a Monday morning. And so, Hunter, congratulations for getting up and being here with us. This is Hunter Cohee, rower now on the KU rowing team. And as we mentioned, Jayhawks coming off the Jayhawk Jamboree, which was, in my mind, one of the funnest rowing events of the year. In your mind, do you see it that way?
I had a very great time this weekend at the Jamboree. I was kind of in the background a little bit. I was helping get the oars and things like that out to the rowers and getting them off the dock and working really hard in the background, but getting to watch all of my teammates and watch the varsity and everybody like completely rock this weekend. It was a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, Kansas had a boat in the top three in basically every race that they competed in. I mean, you're part of the team. You're in there, during training while people are talking. Is that something that the team expected to do?
We worked very, very hard, and the coaches were very optimistic this week, and they were telling us for sure, they're like, you guys are going to do great this weekend, just keep your head up. I think it was the motivation and the, I guess, how the coaches talked up to us. I think that had a really great effect this weekend.
So you are on the novice side of things because you are just a first year, and so that's where you all start. Talk about your team's performance, or the team that you would have competed on had you been competing in the Jamboree. What were your thoughts on that?
I was very proud of the novice team. They got out there and they really tried their best. I could tell as soon as they got off the water they were exhausted, so I know that they worked very hard. I didn't get to watch the experience as much as I would have wanted to. I was, like I said before, I was grabbing oars and helping things behind the scenes. But the things that I heard from all the rowers, they were excited and they were proud of themselves as well. They were not disappointed in their ranking.
So preparation-wise, did it vamp up maybe a week or two leading into the Jamboree where everyone's kind of sitting in the training room going, hey, we've got our first regatta coming up? Was the attitude up, the intensity up, or did everything just kind of stay the same throughout?
I would say it's a little bit of both, actually. There might have been more excitement a little bit after, like as we got closer to the Jamboree. I'd say like last half of last week, everyone was really working hard and everyone had very good attitudes and they were very, very focused in the boats during practice. So I think that it was towards the end that everything kind of vamped up a little bit. I
mean, these are all relative terms, of course. I mean, I wouldn't be able to make it through a warm-up on just a normal day. So, it's just for the rowers, of course, we're trying to, build up a little bit of intensity. Going forward now, what's the attitude? Does it feel like within that training room, does it feel like, hey, we can compete with top-level competition, or does it feel more like, we're just trying to go at our own pace and if we compete, we compete?
I would say the first option. Everyone is very excited now. They've had, especially the novice anyway, they've had their first race and they are experienced in that way, and they are excited to go to Tulsa, and like I am excited as well to get to watch my team right now. Sorry.
I mean, it was a fun event to watch, and if you haven't watched rowing, seriously, watch rowing. Mm-hmm. It's actually a lot of fun, and then you get to see one of the purest, I think, forms of athleticism that exists, mm-hmm. because it's straight strength and coordination. Not a lot of, skill's not the right word, but I guess finesse would be the word. It's just all about strength, mm-hmm. And it's pure athleticism, I think.
I don't think there's a muscle in your body that you do not use when you're rowing. You're physically exhausted in every single part of your body when you're finished.
Absolutely.
It's rough.
I agree. Good. We'll be right back with news here on Good Morning KU, so stick around with us.
Hi, I'm Chloe Cowart.
And I'm Andrew Collins. This is your Monday Good Morning KU news update. A U.S. airstrike in Syria has killed a top al-Qaeda official, the Pentagon reported yesterday. According to the New York Times, the Saudi citizen was the highest-ranking leader of a network that funneled money into the terrorist group. American officials announced that the death by drone strike is the 5th senior member of the Khorasan group to be killed in the past 4 months.
11 people were injured in a multiple-car accident on Sunday after a 17-year-old tried to kill a spider while driving near Great Bend. According to Hutchinson News, the girl let go of the steering wheel to kill a spider. The car crossed the center lane and collided with 2 other cars. The extent of the injured motorist is not known at this time.
A Salina theater was evacuated after a man shot himself in the leg with a concealed handgun. The Salina Journal reported the evacuation was on Friday after a man heard a pop and then another spectator in the theater say, "Oh my God, I shot myself." Police say the incident remains under investigation.
Speaking of movie theaters, the release of the new Star Wars movie is just a few months away and tickets go on sale tonight. The new trailer can be seen during the halftime show of tonight's Monday Night Football game on ESPN. Star Wars The Force Awakens premieres on December 18th.
The Lawrence food truck community has released some exciting news. The restaurant Forked Offender will be opening soon. Unlike other restaurants, the Forked Offender is also a food truck. They serve an interesting combination of barbecue and creme brulee. They are expected to open early next week on 23rd Street.
Uber continues to make its mark in Lawrence. The mobile network allows drivers to find the closest person to requesting a ride while informing the passengers the name of the driver, the type of the car, and the estimated time arrival. A story by Dari Van Houten in today's UDK provides more information on this new form of transportation.
And that will wrap it up for today's news update. Stay tuned, and after the break, Maggie and Nick will give you a look at today's weather.
When you shop local in the heart of the city, you support the people that make our community thrive. The money you spend here stays here, in this place we call our home. Lawrence, Kansas, where there's good old-fashioned hometown pride. Eat local, drink local, shop local.
It's a really pretty day. It's actually pretty chilly as well. It's 55, but very windy out here. There is actually a wind advisory for today and the rest of today, with winds potentially reaching up to 30 to 40 miles per hour.
Maybe we can see your hair blowing around out there. Hopefully it gets better. What do we see as far as the rest of the day goes?
But for later today, the temperatures are going to reach in the higher 70s and 78, so I think the chill will go away and it'll be just a wonderful fall day outside. Even the rest of the week is going to look like that too, except there's a lot of rain in the forecast, but it will stay in the 70s and reach the upper 80s on Tuesday.
There's a big game tonight out in Toronto. I know all the Royals fans are looking forward to watching it. How's the weather going to be out there in Toronto?
Tonight in Toronto, it will also be a chilly 55 at 7 when the Royals take the field. But it's Rogers Stadium is actually inside, so it might be a little bit warmer and they won't have to worry about any of them.
Yeah, they have that retractable roof out there, so 55 degrees isn't bad if you're going to be inside. How does the rest of the week look for us? It's a little bit cold out there right now and warms up later, but how's the rest of the week looking?
The rest of the week is looking, it's going to be, there's some chances of rain throughout the whole week, but only a slight uptick about 30%.
All right, thank you, Maggie. It's been Good Morning KU Monday edition. Tomorrow we'll be back on Tuesday, same time, 10 a.m. Be there.